So I am so excited because tonight Sam and I are going to an early screening of The Haunted Mansion and I'm so freaking excited. But before we go, I need to do a little bit of a story time because up until literally this morning, I wasn't sure if we were going to this screening or not. So basically, a little bit ago, I was going through the rewards available through Disney Movie Insiders. I've talked about Disney Movie Insiders before. I plan on doing a video about them at some point, but either way, if you collect Disney movies, I highly recommend being a member of Disney Movie Insiders because you can get some incredible rewards. But anyway, I was going through the rewards and I saw that they had a few screenings available for a couple different cities for The Haunted Mansion, and one of the cities was the city we live just outside of. So I was like, this is so cool. At that point, we didn't have tickets to see The Haunted Mansion yet. I was planning on getting tickets. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. But I was like, hey, this would be so incredibly cool. I redeemed for this reward, and then they were supposed to send me an email to give me like instructions on what to do the day of, and I never received that email. So I was getting a little worried and a little concerned, like, do we actually have passes to this screening? Today's the screening. It is Wednesday. Friday, I ended up sending out an email to Disney Movie Insiders, just kind of being like, I redeemed for this screening, but I have yet to receive anything. And I went on a little bit of a wild goose chase because they sent me through another third party something, I don't know, basically saying make an account with them, redeem your code through them, and then you will receive your invitation to the screening. I did that. It took me a minute because the first time I tried to make an account, it did not work. And so the second time I made an account, it did work, and I went to redeem the code and it was like, code is invalid. So I'm like, well, that's really cool. So I emailed Disney Movie Insiders again. I was like, hello, I was able to make an account, but now it's saying that the code is invalid. So they sent me an email for this third party website, whatever, to get in contact with them. So I get in contact with them and they're like, yes, no problem. Could you please send us your invitation? I was like, I don't have an invitation. I just redeemed for passes through the Disney Movie Insiders. And they're like, oh, interesting. Did you get like a code or anything? I sent them my code and they say to me, your code is not a code we use. You need to contact Disney Movie Insiders. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I contact Disney Movie Insiders again, and I ended up like screenshotting the email that I got from this third party and I sent it to Disney Movie Insiders, and I'm like, hello again. They are directing me back to you because they're saying now that the code I was given is not a code they use. So this was on like Monday, and again, the screening is Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, do we or do we not have passes to this screening? And Sam was like getting really excited because he loves going to screenings. He was very excited for this. I'm excited because it's a new Disney movie. It's The Haunted Mansion, which is my favorite ride. So I'm very excited about this. And I was like, hey, like, do we or do we not have passes to this screening? Because if we don't, I want to buy tickets because I obviously still want to see this movie. So as I said, I emailed Disney Movie Insiders and I'm like, hello, okay, so this is what this third party company is saying to me. Can you please help me? Like, is there something else? Is there an invitation? Like, please help me. And so they email me back Monday and they're like, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. Let us look into this and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So I hadn't heard anything from them. So yesterday, Tuesday, I emailed them again and I was like, hey, is there an update? Is there anything? I just kind of want to figure this out because the screening is tomorrow. And they emailed me back pretty quickly and they're like, hey, we have nothing as of right now, but we are looking into it. We will get back to you as soon as we can. This morning, I checked my email. I have an email from them. You are set. You are all good to go. We looked into it and we were incorrect. This third-party company will not be putting on this screening. So all you need to do is go to the theater. There will be a Disney representative there. You just show him your code, let him know you're a Disney Movie Insider, and that's how you have passes. and you should be good to go. I'm very excited, but in the chaos of all of that, I'm just not being sure if we weren't going. I've packed away most of my cake-worthy flannels. I've packed away my spirit jerseys, mostly just to make room because I was running out of room in my closet, and I really don't wear those things super duper often anymore. So they're all kind of packed away, and just in like the chaos of all of this, I didn't really pull any of them out, and I don't really have time to pull any of them out at this point. So even though it is a million degrees, I will be wearing my very thick Haunted Mansion wallpaper sweater tonight because this is the only thing I have handy that is Haunted Mansion related. It's a million degrees outside and I'm wearing this sweater to the theaters. I mean, the theater will be air conditioning, so maybe it will be fine. This is what I'm wearing. I'm very excited. It was actually funny because I was literally about to buy tickets. Like, I was looking to buy tickets for this Friday for the movie, because at this point this morning I was like, it's probably not happening. So I was looking and ready to buy tickets, and then I got the email that it was all good. So I'm just waiting for Sam to get home from work. He's going to get home, quickly shower, and then we are going to head out to the Haunted Mansion. Stay tuned for my review. Going into the theaters! Yay, I'm so excited! Okay, so we saw the Haunted Mansion, and I just have to say right off the bat, so much better than the 2003 one because of the whole debacle that happened before we saw the Haunted Mansion, where I didn't know if we had passes or not. Didn't have a chance to rewatch the 2003 Haunted Mansion before going into this. I really wish I would have, but at the same time too, I don't want to compare them too much. So maybe it's a good thing that I didn't watch it. But either way, I just know I really didn't like the 2003 one, and I know I can say that confidently because the Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite rides, and I was very disappointed that it just didn't get a really great adaptation. Pirates of the Caribbean will always stand as the best, thank you Weasley, movie adaptation of an attraction. Jungle Cruise was actually pretty darn good as well, and then we have some fine ones like Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror, and then like some really garbage ones like The Country Bears, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Those movies are just not good. I would say that this definitely falls above the like fine movies, but I wouldn't say it's at like the level of like Pirates of the Caribbean or anything like that. It's gonna take a lot for something to compare just as glorious as the Pirates movies were when it comes to like attraction movies, stuff like that. But anyway, Haunted Mansion, I loved it. The cast, phenomenal. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the 2003 one before watching this new one, but I do remember thinking it was kind of confusing in the 2003 one where all these ghosts kind of came from. Like, they explained the story of Master Gracie, but other than that, it was just kind of like, okay, but where'd everybody else kind of come from? Like, why are there all these other ghosts here? I mean, maybe they do explain it. I'm just completely and totally forgetting. I do want to rewatch it now that this movie has come out. I do remember thinking like, where did all these ghosts come from? All that stuff. And obviously we got like kind of a story of Master Gracie, but that was about it. If I could ask for anything Haunted Mansion related, I would love a Haunted Mansion TV show where every single episode explores a different kind of ghost. That would be like the ultimate thing that I would love to come from the Haunted Mansion. Like, one episode could be the one of the 4 portraits in the stretching room. Another episode could be another one of the portraits. Another episode could be a story about the hitchhiking ghosts. Another story could be about the bride. There's so many ghosts. There's 999 ghosts. So there's so many stories to delve into, but I feel like it probably couldn't happen because some of them, like the bride, could get extremely dark. Back to the movie. So like I said, one thing about the 2003 one that I feel like I didn't like about it was it didn't really explain where all these ghosts kind of came from, except for Master Gracie. Like I said, I could be wrong, could be forgetting the plot of it, but with this movie, they very much explained why there was so many ghosts in this house. And they took my favorite ghost of the entire Haunted Mansion story and made him the star of all of the ghosts. Like, yes, obviously Master Gracie plays a large role in it. Madame Leota plays a large role in it, but the main head ghost that's kind of the main haunter is the Hatbox Ghost, performed by Jared Leto. As much as I'm not a giant fan of Jared Leto, he did so good. He was so creepy. There's a scene where the main character, Ben, goes into the ghost realm and all the ghosts are running scared of the Hatbox Ghost. And this is just kind of like the first indication that like there's something different about this ghost in comparison to the rest of the ghosts, because why are these ghosts scared of this other ghost? And the first main kind of like full introduction we get of the Hatbox Ghost is so good, so well done. Obviously, like, computer animation is used and it's kind of obvious at certain points, but I mean, it's not horrible computer animation. I thought it was really good, and the way they just did like the floating like spirits and stuff looked so cool. Hatbox Ghost was just incredible and I loved him so much. I literally can't pick a favorite character in this movie. There was Lakeith Stanfield as Ben, who used to be an astrophysicist and is now a New Orleans tour guide. We have Rosie O'Dawson as the mother who owns this house, Owen Wilson as a priest, Tiffany Haddish as a medium, and then Danny DeVito as a historian, and then also Chase Dillon as the son of Rosie O'Dawson's character. And they were all just so good. Like, I literally can't think of who was my favorite, because they were all just so perfect in their roles. Like Tiffany Haddish as the medium, she was so funny and hilarious and I loved her so much. And as like extravagant and over the top as she was, she did also have some like really like deep moments. Like there's a moment where she's talking to the character Ben. Ben has lost someone in his life and he asked Tiffany Haddish's character, her name is Harriet, to try to contact her. And she wasn't able to, and she just kind of explains to him she's always tried to contact her own father who's passed away and she's never been able to contact him, and she just kind of sees that as he's crossed completely over to another side. He's no longer in like this like in-between ghost realm where all the ghosts in the Haunted Mansion reside. She just kind of thinks as that, as he, even though she'll never be able to talk to him, she just thinks of it as he's at peace, and that kind of makes it a little bit easier for her to deal with that he's gone. And so she kind of says like, maybe that's where the person that you want to talk to has gone, so if anything, at least we can hope that they're at peace. It's just such a sweet moment because she is very over the top, very extravagant, and I just thought she was kind of a kook. It's not until she contacts, I think it's Madame Leota, that Ben even believes that she can actually contact the dead. Like, he does not believe her at all. And even when they're trying to find someone to come to the house and help them, Owen Wilson's character even says, he was like, I found the best medium in our price range. So it's like, clearly she's like a discount medium. Ben is just very skeptical, and I thought this like moment between the two of them was really sweet, especially for her character to have like this completely like different side to her that you see when you first are introduced to her. When I think about horror movies that are made for an older audience, a main theme in a lot of horror movies is the theme of grief. And this movie, even though it's not necessarily for like young children, like this is not a movie I would take my 4-year-old nephew to, it's also not necessarily like a full-on horror movie for adults. Like young tweens and stuff could definitely go to this movie and enjoy it, but for the most part it's not too scary. Like, it's definitely not like Hereditary, The Exorcist, films like that. It's definitely not even close to that, but it still has its spooky moments. But what I really liked about it is that even though it's not necessarily an adult horror movie or even a horror movie at all, it still explores the theme of grief as well as social anxiety, which I feel like doesn't get talked about at all in children's films. The main character of Ben, he's experiencing grief as well as he experiences like social anxiety, which is not good because he is a tour guide, so he has to like be around people all the time, and he just does not deal with it very well. And then he meets this mother and son, and the son also is experiencing grief, and he's also experiencing social anxiety, and the two of them just kind of like help each other out, and it's really well done, and I thought it was really good. And it's also good to see that things like that are very normal for all ages, and it's okay to have grief, and it's okay to have social anxiety. It's just being able to find something or someone to kind of help you through those things, which those two guys definitely found that within each other. I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was really interesting that they explored those things, like I said, in basically like a kid's movie. So there was one kind of like twist or reveal in this movie that I'm not going to say right this second. I'll get into it when I talk about the one spoiler of this movie. They definitely kind of talk about it, but then they also say other things to make you think it isn't what you thought it was before. I'll get more into that at the end of this video because I will discuss that spoiler and what I thought about it, but I'm not going to say too much about it now in case you don't want to know. But either way, I really liked this movie. I thought it was really, really good. Like I said, a lot better than the 2003 one. Again, it's still like kind of spooky. It's definitely spookier and scarier than the 2003 one. There was only one like main part of the 2003 one that actually like kind of had me on the edge of my seat. This one definitely had a lot more like spookier moments. Like I definitely felt kind of like uneasy, kind of the way you feel when you're maybe on the Haunted Mansion ride for the first time in your life, and it's just like uneasy and spooky and creepy. There was definitely parts of the movie that gave me that same feeling. I also just loved the thousands of nods that they had to the actual ride. Like there's a part where they're in a seance room, and the chair that the character Ben is sitting in is the infamous like armchair that you can see like a Donald Duck pattern in. There's the candelabra floating down the hall that you can't see who's holding it. Lucifer the crow, or is she a raven? Lucifer the bird is in this movie. All of the 999 ghosts, like there's just all of them running amok, and it's so great. And also, if you listen really closely, lots of the scores are different adaptations of like Grim Grinning Ghosts or like the graveyard music. Just tons of nods to the ride, and I loved that. And like I loved catching all of the different ones. Sam's only been on like the real Haunted Mansion I think like once or twice, because when we went to Disneyland March of 2022 it was the real Haunted Mansion, but then when we went in January of 2023 it was still the Christmas Haunted Mansion, which is the Nightmare Before Christmas. So he doesn't know all of the like little details and stuff like I do, because I've not only been on that ride 1,000 times when I lived there and just in general because I love that ride, but I've actually had the chance to do a backstage tour of the Haunted Mansion ride, so I know so many details about this ride, and to see so many of those little things put into this movie just made me so happy. It's not supposed to be like a nostalgic type of movie. It's supposed to have a story, it's supposed to have a plot, there's supposed to be characters that we're supposed to get invested into, and it does all that plus have the nostalgia that I wanted as a lover of the Haunted Mansion. I loved this movie. I loved it so much. I do want to rewatch the 2003 one just to kind of like see and really compare the two. But I don't know when I'll get to that. Maybe at some point, we'll see. When I'm filming this movie actually comes out today, but I'm posting this next week. So it should still will be in theaters for a while after this movie is posted. And I highly recommend it. I think it's such a fun movie. It's really well done. Plus it has the nostalgia that I was looking for as a lover of the Haunted Mansion ride. And now we're gonna get into spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. But if you want to know the one little like twist of this movie, then hang around. So the twist is the mother and son character, Gabby and Travis are their names. They've moved to New Orleans because they keep saying that something happened back home, but they never really like specify what it is. My immediate thought was Travis's father passed away, But then a little bit later in the movie, we find out that Travis was talking to his father. He tells Ben, he's like, I talked to my dad again today and he really wants me to come for a visit. He's like, but I don't know how my mom would feel about that. And Ben kind of just says to him, he's like, well, if you want to go visit him, you gotta tell your mom. If you really want to do this, you should tell your mom so that you can go. And then when like the main like climax of the story happens, Ben makes Travis stay in the car to kind of stay away from like the craziness that's gonna happen in them trying to defeat the Hatbox Ghost. Travis says, it's okay, I'll just call my dad. So it's like, okay, he's gonna pull out a cell phone and call his dad. But then they go into the house and Gabby asks, where's Travis? And Ben says, it's okay, he's in the car, he's talking to his dad, he's safe. And Gabby's like, how is he talking to his dad? His dad passed away. So as I said, I did kind of predict that. You guys did kind of also try to push me in another direction so that I didn't think that that was it. It wasn't like the biggest reveal in the world that his dad was dead. And it is revealed that the person that Travis has actually been talking to is not his father, but actually the Hatbox Ghost trying to get Travis to be his 1000th soul. It wasn't like the biggest reveal in the world because I kind of predicted that his dad did pass away. It was kind of cool that it ended up being the Hatbox Ghost that was talking to him. I really liked this movie. I definitely recommend it. That's gonna be it for now. Like I said, I really do recommend this movie. I thought it was really good. I definitely left it feeling super duper positively, very happy, loving every single minute of it, and definitely can't wait to get it on DVD and rewatch it to find even more little Easter eggs and nods towards the ride. That is going to be it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I post new videos every single Friday, and I'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.